Welcome back to Sheeran Scoop, the channel that keeps you locked on the pulse of what's happening now. The news cycle never sleeps, and neither do we, bringing you the absolute latest, the most talked about, and the stories you need to know. Get ready, because we've got a packed show today, with updates that are already setting the internet ablaze and sparking conversations across every platform. From unexpected cinematic twists to groundbreaking developments, we're diving deep into the stories that are dominating headlines and capturing imaginations. You won't want to miss a single second as we break down the biggest moments and hottest takes. So buckle up, hit that like button, and let's get started with the scoop. First up, a classic tale is getting a seriously unexpected makeover, and the internet is having a field day with it. We're talking about a new film adaptation that's dropped a teaser, and let's just say the vibe is different. People are already roasting this one with some of the most hilarious jokes you'll see all week, pointing out everything from the casting choices to the overall tone. Is it a faithful retelling or something else entirely? We've got all the details on the reactions flooding social media. Next, we're diving into the digital discourse surrounding this buzzy new adaptation. The online world is absolutely buzzing, with reactions ranging from intrigued to outright bewildered. We're exploring the specific critiques and praises being hurled at this project, dissecting the conversations happening across platforms like X and Reddit. What are fans saying about the director's vision, the star power involved, and the departure from the original source material? Get ready for a deep dive into the internet's collective reaction. Then, we're going behind the scenes of the intense online debate sparked by this much-anticipated cinematic event. The trailer has dropped, and the internet is reacting with a fervor we haven't seen in a while. We're breaking down the core issues, the casting controversies, the perceived tonal shifts, and whether this adaptation is staying true to its literary roots. Plus, we're looking at the director's previous work and how it might inform this bold new direction. It's a deep dive into why this particular project is igniting such strong opinions. And finally, we're looking at the palpable division among fans as this new take on a beloved classic unfolds. The teaser is out, and it's clear this adaptation is not playing it safe. We're exploring the undeniable chemistry on screen, but also the stark contrast between this vision and what many fans expect from the original story. Is it a bold reimagining or a misstep? We'll break down the divided opinions and what this means for the film's reception. Stay with us for all the details, and after we break down these stories, make sure you're subscribed, the bell is ringing, and you let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Wuthering Heights trailer sparks hilarious online roasts. Get ready for a cinematic event that's got everyone talking and laughing. The teaser trailer for a new film adaptation of the classic novel, Wuthering Heights, has just dropped, and it's safe to say the internet is not holding back. Helmed by Emerald Fennell, known for her distinctive directorial style in Promising Young Woman and Saltburn, this adaptation stars Margot Robbie as Catherine Earnshaw and Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. However, the trailer's overtly sexual and modern vibe has ignited a firestorm of witty critiques and hilarious jokes across social media platforms. Fans and critics alike are pointing out perceived departures from the original 1847 novel by Emily Bronte, sparking a debate about tone, casting, and thematic accuracy. The trailer itself has been described as having gratuitously sexual vibes, a stark contrast to the brooding, gothic romance often associated with Wuthering Heights. This stylistic choice has led to a deluge of online commentary. One Reddit user quipped, "I appreciate that Wuthering Heights is in quotations on the title card, sort of signifying to us that this is technically Wuthering Heights, but not really." This sentiment captures the feeling among many that the adaptation is leaning more towards a modern, perhaps even sensationalized, interpretation rather than a faithful period piece. Another Redditor summed it up with, "Bronte, but make it brat," playfully referencing the trend of modernizing classic literature for younger audiences. Casting choices have also become a major point of contention. Margot Robbie, while a popular star, is significantly older than Catherine Earnshaw is depicted in the early parts of the novel, where she is a young girl. Similarly, Jacob Elordi's portrayal of Heathcliff has drawn attention. While Heathcliff's race is ambiguous in the novel, described with terms like dark-skinned gypsy, scholars have debated his ethnicity, and past adaptations have depicted him as black. The casting of Elordi has led some to label it a whitewashed interpretation, raising concerns about representation and historical accuracy within the adaptation's framework. The inclusion of original music by pop star Charlie XCX further adds to the modern, pop-infused aesthetic, which some fans feel clashes with the novel's dark, atmospheric setting. Concerns are also being raised about the potential whitewashing of the novel's complex themes, such as violence, cruelty, social class, and race, in favor of focusing on the romantic and sexual chemistry between the leads. Given Emerald Fennell's previous film, Saltburn, which also courted controversy for its provocative themes and aesthetic, viewers are bracing for a similarly bold and potentially divisive take on Wuthering Heights. The film is slated for a Valentine's Day release in 2026, setting the stage for a romantic season marked by this highly debated adaptation. The public reaction has been swift and often humorous. Memes and witty remarks have flooded platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube. Comments range from jokes about Heathcliff saying, "It's Wuthering time," to observations that the trailer felt more like a TikTok edit than a traditional movie preview. This overwhelming online engagement highlights how the teaser has successfully captured attention, albeit through a lens of playful criticism and anticipation for the final product. But is this a bold reimagining or a misstep from a director known for pushing boundaries? Stay tuned as we break down the internet's extreme reaction to this adaptation. Wuthering Heights adaptation fuels online frenzy over tone and casting. The digital realm is currently ablaze with discussions surrounding the latest cinematic adaptation of Emily Bronte's iconic novel, Wuthering Heights. Director Emerald Fennell, following her critically acclaimed yet controversial films, Promising Young Woman and Saltburn, is at the helm of this new project, starring Margot Robbie as Catherine Earnshaw and Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. The recent release of the film's teaser trailer has ignited a fervent online response, with audiences sharply divided over the adaptation's perceived tone and casting choices. The buzz is palpable, and the internet's reaction is a spectacle in itself. At the heart of the controversy is the trailer's apparent emphasis on overt sexuality and a modern aesthetic, which many fans feel deviates significantly from the dark, brooding, and psychologically complex themes of the original 1847 novel. Critics argue that the teaser leans heavily into a soft-core romantic vibe, potentially overshadowing the novel's exploration of passion, cruelty, social class, and revenge. This interpretation has led to widespread commentary, with some users humorously lamenting the perceived shift, noting that conventional romance might be the more subversive approach today, rather than overt sensuality. The film's marketing, featuring a contemporary soundtrack and stylized visuals, further fuels this debate, prompting questions about whether this adaptation truly captures the essence of Bronte's enduring work or offers a radical departure. Casting decisions have also been a significant focal point for online debate. Margot Robbie, playing the central figure of Catherine, faces scrutiny regarding her age, as Catherine is depicted as a young woman, often a teenager, throughout much of the novel. Similarly, Jacob Elordi's portrayal of Heathcliff has drawn commentary. While Bronte's description of Heathcliff is open to interpretation, referring to him as a dark-skinned gypsy. The casting has led to accusations of whitewashing among some viewers, particularly given the character's complex ethnic ambiguity and historical discussions surrounding his heritage. The inclusion of pop artist Charlie XCX providing original music also contributes to the contemporary feel, a choice that has polarized fans who associate Wuthering Heights with a more traditional, Gothic soundscape. Director Emerald Fennell's previous works, particularly Saltburn, which was noted for its provocative and visually striking content, have set expectations for a bold and potentially boundary-pushing interpretation. This history has led many to believe that Fennell's Wuthering Heights will be an unconventional take, prioritizing aesthetic and emotional intensity over strict adherence to the source material. The use of quotation marks around the title in promotional materials has been interpreted by some as a deliberate signal of this loose, interpretive approach. The online reaction has manifested in a torrent of memes, witty remarks, and detailed critiques shared across platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and Reddit. Many express concern that the adaptation might whitewash the novel's exploration of darker themes like violence and social injustice, opting instead for a focus on the intense romantic and sexual chemistry between the protagonists. Despite the controversy, this buzz has undeniably generated significant anticipation, with many curious to see how Fennel's vision will translate on screen. Is this bold reimagining a stroke of genius, or a departure too far from the beloved classic? We'll delve deeper into the online discourse and examine the specific points of contention. Wuthering Heights adaptation ignites fierce online debate over tone and casting. The internet is currently in an uproar over the first look at the upcoming film adaptation of Emily Bronte's classic novel, Wuthering Heights. Directed by Emerald Fennell, whose previous works include the provocative, Promising Young Woman and the polarizing Saltburn. This new rendition stars Margot Robbie as Catherine Earnshaw and Jacob Elordi as Heathcliff. Since the release of the teaser trailer, a storm of reactions has erupted online, with fans and critics fiercely debating the adaptation's tone, casting, and faithfulness to the source material. This project has quickly become a hot topic, igniting passionate discussions across social media. The primary source of contention appears to be the trailer's apparent emphasis on intense passion and overt sexuality, a stark contrast to the dark, gothic, and often brutal nature of the original novel. Many online commentators feel that this adaptation is prioritizing a modern, sensationalized romance over the complex psychological and social themes that define Bronte's work. Critiques suggest that the film might be simplifying the story's inherent cruelty, class struggles, and themes of revenge into a more conventional, albeit steamy, love story. The stylistic choices, including what some describe as a TikTok edit feel, and the inclusion of original music by Charlie XCX, further contribute to the perception of a significant departure from the novel's period setting and somber atmosphere. Casting decisions have also become a major flashpoint in the online discourse. Margot Robbie, who is 35, plays Catherine Earnshaw. While Catherine's age varies throughout the novel, she is notably a teenager at the story's climax. This age discrepancy has been a point of criticism for many fans who believe it misrepresents the character. Furthermore, Jacob Elordi's casting as Heathcliff has sparked debate regarding his ethnicity. Heathcliff's heritage is ambiguously described in the novel as dark-skinned and gypsy, leading to ongoing scholarly discussion and varying portrayals in past adaptations. The casting of Elordi has led some to label the interpretation as whitewashed, raising concerns about representation and the potential dilution of the character's complex background. The film's producers, including Margot Robbie and her husband Tom Ackerley, are also facing scrutiny for their role in shaping this particular vision. Adding to the intrigue, the use of quotation marks around the title Wuthering Heights in promotional materials has been interpreted by many as a deliberate indication of the adaptation's loose, interpretive nature. This suggests that Fennell's film may not be a literal retelling, but rather a modern reimagining that uses the classic story as a springboard for exploring contemporary themes or aesthetics. Fennell's track record with films like Saltburn, which pushed boundaries with its explicit content and distinctive visual style, has conditioned audiences to expect a bold and potentially controversial approach. The online reaction has been a mix of outrage, amusement, and intense speculation. Social media feeds are flooded with memes, witty commentary, and detailed analyses of the trailer. While some fans are excited by the prospect of a fresh, modern take on a literary classic, a significant portion expresses concern that the adaptation might gloss over the novel's darker, more challenging aspects in favor of romantic appeal. The film is set for release on Valentine's Day 2026, ensuring that the conversation around this adaptation will continue to heat up. Will this bold new vision capture hearts or alienate purists? Prepare for more as we unpack the online frenzy surrounding this highly anticipated film. Wuthering Heights teaser divides fans with bold romance and casting choices. Director Emerald Fennell, known for her distinctive and often provocative filmmaking, is set to release her adaptation of Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights, starring Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. The recent unveiling of the film's official teaser and poster has already ignited a significant divide among fans, with the adaptation's intense romantic and sexual tension taking center stage. While the chemistry between the two leads is undeniable, the film's polarizing approach to the classic novel has sparked widespread debate about its direction and faithfulness to the original story. Fennell's previous film, Saltburn, garnered considerable attention for its unexpected narrative twists and provocative themes, making it a persistent topic of conversation long after its release. It appears her Wuthering Heights adaptation is following a similar trajectory, opting for a significant reimagining of the source material. The teaser trailer prominently features the palpable sexual tension between Robbie's Catherine Earnshaw and Elordi's Heathcliff. Set to the backdrop of Charlie XCX's song Everything is Romantic, the trailer's overall tone and aesthetic are a far cry from what many might expect from a traditional adaptation of Wuthering Heights. This stylistic departure is precisely what has polarized the audience. On one side, many fans have embraced the new dynamic and the unconventional presentation of the classic story. Comments on social media reflect enthusiasm for the fresh take, with users expressing excitement about seeing Robbie and Elordi bring their chemistry to the forefront of this beloved love story. Phrases like stunning and can't wait to see Margaret and Jacob bring this classic love story to life on screen, highlight the positive reception from those who appreciate a more modern and intense interpretation. However, a substantial segment of the audience has reacted negatively, criticizing the perceived simplification of the novel's complex narrative. Detractors argue that the adaptation risks reducing a dark, complicated, and conflicted tale of love on the isolated moors into a mere simplistic mush of lust for six-pack abs. This sentiment is encapsulated by comparisons to Saltburn 2 with different actors, suggesting a concern that the adaptation is prioritizing shock value and explicit themes over narrative depth and thematic integrity. The focus on intense sexual chemistry, while potentially appealing to some, is seen by others as a superficial treatment of a story known for its raw passion, obsession, and darker psychological elements. The division among fans is clear. Some are drawn to the bold, contemporary reimagining and the star power of Robbie and Elordi, while others are wary of what they perceive as a dilution or misrepresentation of Emily Bronte's original work. This polarization is likely to intensify as more details emerge. The film is scheduled for release on February 13, 2026, leaving ample time for anticipation and debate to build. Whether this risky approach will pay off remains to be seen, but it has certainly succeeded in generating significant buzz and discussion. This adaptation has certainly stirred the pot, but will it resonate with audiences or fall flat? We'll recap the biggest stories of the day right after this. And that's a wrap on today's Sheeran Scoop. We've covered the internet's hilarious reactions to the new Wuthering Heights teaser, diving deep into the casting controversies and tonal shifts. We explored the online frenzy surrounding this adaptation, dissecting the passionate debates about its modern take on a classic. We went behind the scenes of the intense online discourse, examining why this particular project is igniting such strong opinions. And finally, we looked at the division among fans as this new vision of a beloved classic unfolds. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to Sheeran Scoop for all your latest updates, ring that notification bell so you never miss a scoop, and let us know your thoughts on the Wuthering Heights adaptation in the comments below. Plus, follow us on all our social media channels for even more exclusive content. We'll see you next time.